watching famous games on YouTube.
Hello, good morning, and welcome back to the Short Vol Show Live. My name is David Lincoln, and I'm trying to move the microphone out of my way a little bit so it's not blocking my face, the whole pop filter thing. Anyway, welcome back, everybody. I'm slowly starting up again. I've been coming on every morning at 8:30 during trading hours. Wow, I don't know about you, but I'm into episodic television. I've been watching, what shows have I been watching recently? Well, 1923 just ended. I'm into the whole Yellowstone and all of its components thing. That would be the original show, the main show, 1886, or the first prequel, and then the second one, 1923. I recommend them all. Then I've been watching Will Trent, which is a sort of procedural police show, which is a good one that's been watching every week. I think it comes out on Wednesday or Thursdays. Then I've been watching The Last of Us, which is based on the video game, but really awesome episode this week of The Last of Us. Here in Cape Cod, it is cold out, and we're getting through the end of the winter. Now, I have a side job working in a resort, and I make a lot more income in the summer than the winter, so we're always looking forward for the winter to end, and because we live in a tourist area here, and I'm collecting some tourist bucks. Anyway, let's get to the market, and let's take a look at what's going on. You can see from the title of this video, I'm talking about where we are kind of in the macro market, and specifically, are we still in rally mode? Now, the market, all of these big stocks sold off for like a year, and then they kind of bounced off the bottom. Tesla in particular got down to about 104, and now it's pretty much doubled since then. It's at 2 something. But if we take a quick look at the NASDAQ as a proxy for the entire market, we could pick either the NASDAQ here, or we could pick the E-minis. That would be /ES. The Dow is, I sort of consider the Dow kind of outdated at this point, but people still follow it. But here is the last 3 years of the E-minis, and you can see this big sell-off. If we look at it like this, it looks like we've been rallying the whole time, but if we just go to the year, now this is 2022, we went down the whole year. See that? If we go to the NASDAQ, which is /NQ, similar situation here. Sell off the whole year, and we kind of bounced off the low here, but we're still kind of in a downtrend, right? It doesn't look like it really depends on what time period you look at, I guess is what it comes down to. But if we look at this expanded time period, this is 2 years here, it appears we're still in a downtrend that we haven't broken. If we go to 1 year, well, it's a little bit less certain. It looks like we're kind of flatlined. And if we back up to that full 3 years, then it looks like we're in a rally. So now this happens a lot in the marketplace where, stay with me 1 second here. I'm kind of in the way. Let me get out of the way here and just illustrate that once more without me being in the way. But this happens a lot in the marketplace where, depending on the length of the chart you look at, you get a different result. So let's go back once again to the 1 year. We can see, if we look at it from 1 year chart, it looks like we've bottomed and we're rallying, maybe, or we're going sideways, right? If we go out to 2 years, it looks like we're still in a downtrend that we haven't quite broken yet. And if we go out to this, I've got this 20-year now. I don't know if that's really going to show too much, but no, it still only shows 2 years. Let's try to do custom time frame. So 20 years, month at a time. Let's try that. All right. So there's a good illustration here. So we had the rally and then a kind of a sell-off, and now we're either going to rally again, or we're flatlining, or we're still in a downtrend. It's very hard to tell, right? So something that's really hard for people to deal with when trading or learning about trading is uncertainty. Now we're in uncertainty. The future is always uncertain. And people will pretty much do anything to somehow get out of this uncertainty. People want to pass this uncertainty off to someone else. It's not a comfortable place to be in, and it's not a normal place to be in for people. And so people try to get out of it any way they can. Right? So, for example, I have a friend who he has a very successful business, and he made a bunch of money, and he decides he's going to start playing the market. But having this uncertainty on your shoulders is tough. And there's all these people out here willing to take your money and offering certainty. They're going to sell you certainty. They're going to sell you a little bit of security by you paying them money. And for example, you can pay someone $5,000 a month to tell you what to do with which stocks to buy and sell. And that way you're passing the uncertainty off to someone else, and you feel a little bit better. Now, the reality is, to be a market participant and be successful at it, you need to become comfortable with having this uncertainty on your shoulders. We don't know the future, and that's a truism, a truth that there's no way to get around. And it seems like a lot of times people, when they come into the marketplace, they have this belief that there are certain traders up there who are just so smart that they actually know the future, and they can accurately predict what's going to happen all the time, and so they don't have that uncertainty, and they know what's going to happen. And people perpetuate this myth. You see all the time on Twitter or something, someone saying, earn 20% a week or 200% a week, follow us and buy what we buy. You know, we're a big group and we're right, and you're going to make all this money. Those people don't know any more than anybody else does. And obviously, if you have 10,000 people all randomly picking stocks, a few of those people are going to randomly find this path where a lot more is right than wrong. Now, does that mean that they are geniuses? No, but the way odds work in the world is that certain people are going to end up on top. Now, are there traders who are better than others at making money? Yes. Are there people in the market who successfully make a living as traders? Yes. Do they know what's going to happen in the future? No. So become comfortable with the knowledge that the future is unknowable. Okay, so getting back to the point of this video, we had a sell-off. Now it seems like we've come off the lows on stocks like Tesla. I'm going to disappear here again, and we'll go back to the charts. And so my plan for a little while has been to buy Tesla and kind of hold on. And one way to do this is to buy the stock. Another way to do this is with options, and there's an unlimited number of ways you can play options to be long. But a very basic one that I was using the last session and I was successfully made money with was to buy a call vertical. So if we look here, I just want to confirm that I still don't have my second screen, so I have to kind of flip back to make sure that I'm showing you what I want to be. If you look at this screen here, you can see there's my position here on the bottom right. And I basically have no position right now. The delta, as you can see, is I'm long 12 deltas, so pretty much flat. And what I had on was this call vertical, the 200, 245 vertical, and I sold the 205, 246 vertical against it to flatten out once we rallied. But essentially, what I did was I bought one call and I sold a higher call against it. So the 200, 245 call spread, I believe I paid $14 and change for it. We're right around 200 now. So to break even, if you paid $14 for that, stock would have to go above 214 by the time this expires, which is in June, which is a ways out. If you look here on the left side, you see these different expiration times, different expiration dates, and then the next line over here shows how many days until these expire. So I picked this one 100 days out, and I just bought the 200 call and sold the 245 call against it. Now, You could also buy the stock. Using options for leverage, you could actually get long more deltas in the stock by buying the option spread than just buying the stock, just based on how much the stock costs. Now, if I were to move closer in time to expiration, like if I were to pick just 40 days out, then I could get even longer. But I don't necessarily want to use every bit of leverage I have. I just want to get long some shares and take some risk, but not a ton of risk. So probably what I will do today, if we're going to continue with this strategy of essentially getting long, riding Tesla up, right? That's been the sort of the strategy, and it's a pretty basic strategy. We've come from 104 up to here where it's doubled. Now, we don't know if it's going to go higher or not, so it's hard to say, but the strategy has been to wait till it goes down a little and then buy a little and then ride it up, make a couple bucks, and then close out the position. So the way I would reinstitute this position is the hedge that I put on, which was this 205, 246 call spread, I would probably take it off. So I'd buy the spread that I'm short back in. So buy 5 of the 205 calls, sell 5 of the 246 calls. That way, all of a sudden we're long again. So if we were to, let's model this trade here, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight both the options involved, right click, create closing order. So buy 5 of these spreads, then I'm going to right click on this trade and say analyze trade. So this is going to show us what will happen if we execute this trade. And you can see this would make us long 130 deltas. Essentially, each dollar the stock goes up, we make $130. Each dollar the stock goes down, we lose $130. And you can see our theta, or our decay, what it's costing us per day, is fairly minimal. It's $8 a day. The other thing we want to consider with this trade is we can probably get into this trade pretty much mid-market. If we look at the options involved, you can see how many are trading per day. Now, the market's not open now, so we're not going to get accurate information. But when I'm considering which trade I want to put on to get long, I'm going to look at how many of the options I'm trading how much volume is happening in those series that day. If you've got 10,000 contracts in each one trading every day, then you can feel fairly confident that you can get in and out of this trade without having to give up much, because there's just so much action going on in those strikes that it's easy to get in and out. If nobody has traded these strikes at all, in the last 2 months, then it's going to be much harder to get in and out of the trade. But the good thing about Tesla is it's one of the most traded options stocks. So if we look now, we're not going to, the market's not open, so we're not going to see volume, but we can look and see open interest, and that's how many contracts are out there right now. And you can see if I go to June, there's fairly decent open interest in the strikes involved. So if I look at the 224,000 open interest, and if I look at the 246, 3,000, it's not a ton, but fairly decent open interest. You'll find that open interest is going to be the most at the front week strikes. So if we look at the strikes, front week strikes, you see a decent amount of open interest, especially the monthly. So if we look at this March with 11 days to go, you're going to see 49,000 of the 200, 25,000 of the 220s. And generally, as you can see here, the rounded numbers are going to have more open interest because people are more apt to trade, say, the 215 strike than the 213.33 strike. And the reason why there is a 213.33 strike is the stock had a split sometime after these March options were created. The stock was split, and then and that's how it ended up with these weird fractional numbers here. Anytime you see these numbers like 0.33 or 0.67, it's going to indicate that there was a split sometime after these options were initially created. You can see the stock's up $1 and change since the close. And if we kind of research this a little bit, if we look at the 5-day here, we can see what happened after the close Friday. Well, right before the close, we were up around 200 here. It kind of backed off. Now it's been bouncing around. Now it's back kind of where it was mid-afternoon Friday. And like I said, nobody knows what's going to happen with this issue. It has been working recently to just kind of buy some Tesla on a pullback and just hang on. But who knows if that will continue to work? I can't tell you that. I can't tell you the future. I can just have you check out what I'm doing, and maybe it helps a little bit. Squarespace, this is the one I was trading for a long time. It's had a nice big run up here. But if you look at the chart, similar situation. Let me see if I can get myself out of the way. Oh, I'm out of the way still. Similar situation. It's bounced off the lows, but it's not clear here if we're going to rally or sell off. Now, it might be a case where you want to bet that we're just going to kind of stay in this area for a little bit. That might not be a bad bet. And you can craft an options trade. The beautiful thing about options is you can craft an options trade for whatever opinion you have. You can craft an options trade that says, I think the stock's going to sit around, in this case, maybe $80 for the next 2 months. And if you're correct, you can make money off that. That's one of the beauties of options. Anyways, I've jibber-jabbered a lot, enough lately. Check out on TV, if you're not watching it, The Mandalorian season 3 just started. I'm a huge Star Wars fan. Andor was a great show. One of the unknown Star Wars shows. Of all these Star Wars shows that have come out recently, Andor is one of the least known, but really great adult Star Wars. If you're into that sort of thing, check it out. Check me out. I will be back tomorrow. Friday was a nice green day. I took a ride to the long side on Tesla, and it worked out. We'll see if today works out as well. And thanks for watching. I am going to start having more interviews on the channel and kind of bring things back to life. So if you're following now, I appreciate you. And make me part of your morning. And I will deliver my thoughts and ideas on the market. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.
You're watching famous.